I think we're ready.
Okay.
You ready to do it?
Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Hey folks, Al Martin here, Making Data Simple. I've got a special, ultra special guest today. I have Nanny Ryals with me today. She is the grandmother of a good friend of mine. I did this so maybe that good friend of mine will start listening to my podcast. I have to have his grandmother on so he'll finally listen. But this is typically a technology podcast. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about life coaching advice. Nanny, welcome to my podcast. You know what a podcast is?
Well, yes.
Or do you listen to podcasts?
Well, I have, but I haven't for a long time.
Here's what I always do when I start my podcast. I ask the guest to introduce yourself. Like your real name, maybe we'll start there. It's not Nanny, I don't think.
No, it's Maxine.
Maxine.
Ryals.
Maxine Ryals. Where are you from?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Uh-huh.
What brought you to Kansas City?
Well, we came up here right after the war for my husband to go to electronics school.
Electronic school. What kind of electronic school? See, this is technology. See, we're already talking technology.
For the future, TVs but see, there wasn't a TV then. So he went and just learned to do radio.
Wasn't a TV then. What year is the first year you had a TV?
Oh my goodness.
So what, probably in the 50s?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 50s?
And it only had the test pattern.
So you just looked at the bars on there?
No, see, if you were learning to work on TVs, only you had this test pattern for your guide.
I see. Can I ask you how old you are?
97.
97. 97. What year were you born?
25. 12/5/25.
12/5/25.
25.
You know who else shares a birthday with you, don't you?
Oh, yes, I share my birthday with Albert.
That would be me, except I came along a little bit later. You know, my grandmother was born in 1918, and you're 1925. She passed away, I don't know, in 2012, I think it was. Did you ever think you'd live this long?
Well, not really. I was surprised, but every day you just get up and do what you have to do and see if it's your time.
You have a huge family now, though, right? How many children and grandchildren did you have?
Well, I had 4 grandchildren.
Yeah.
And 5 great-grandchildren and 2 children.
Did you know your grandparents?
I only knew one set of my grandparents. That was on my dad's side.
Yeah.
And I graduated in 45 from high school.
That was right at the end of the war.
Yeah.
1945.
Uh-huh.
How would you describe your childhood?
Well, I tell you, we used to play Anthony over the house. We had a little ball, and see, you'd choose up, a bunch of kids would get together, and we'd choose up, and, so many would be on one side and one on the other. So when, if I caught the ball over here, why, we slipped around and hit everybody we could with the ball, and then they're out.
It's like an old form of dodgeball. You catch it and then throw it at them. I like it. Over the house, did you say?
Oh, yeah, you throw it over the house,
You didn't break any windows, did you?
No, we went up over it.
You were a good throw. I got it. How many sisters and brothers did you have?
Well, there were 8 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters and me.
Where were you in the birth order?
Well, I was like the second one.
Did you have to take care of everybody else?
Well, we all took care of each other. That was one thing we had to do.
Very good. Are those still around?
Well, I only got one sister left, and that's the youngest one. And then I got one brother left.
Are they in Oklahoma?
Uh-huh.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
The craziest?
Yeah, the most ridiculous thing you've ever done. Scott, close your ears. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
I think it's we would always slip off, and there was a stream of water just a little ways from our house, and it kind of had like a pool.
Yeah.
And we'd slip off and go down there and swim.
Yeah. Did you skinny dip?
Oh, yeah, sometimes. So finally, our mother caught us, and she wouldn't let us do it anymore. So we had, we just would swim a little bit and then get out and put our clothes on because we had our towels.
Who was your first crush? Did you have a first crush? A boy crush?
Oh, I really never was real crazy about...
You weren't boy crazy?
No, I wasn't. They would, ask me to go out and everything. I just wasn't interested.
You just tell them no? You say, nah, not interested.
Well, I said maybe another time.
And that another time never happened?
Yeah.
Well, you should have made them buy you dinner or something. You could have got a free dinner out of it.
Oh, listen, you didn't go to restaurants for dinner. The only time you went to eat someplace was at some, your grandmother's or aunts or one of the neighbors or something, and, they cooked at home, and we ate at home. Yeah.
So when Charlie, your husband, asked you out, tell me about that. How did that go?
Oh, well, well, let's see now.
You accepted yes on that one now. That was one you accepted.
Well, I tell you what, he came home. He was in was it CCC's, up in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
That Red Rock Theater up in...
Yeah.
He helped build that.
Really?
Well, so the Army called him and gave him so many days before he had to report, to go to camp someplace. I was, my girlfriend and I was on the way to a ball game.
Baseball?
Huh?
Baseball game?
No, it was a football game.
Okay.
There at Northeastern, Oklahoma. He was sitting out on the courthouse lawn. They had a little benches, and he was out there. So we stopped and talked to him. And
so you talked to him first.
Well, he just asked us, where we were going. We were going to the football game.
Yeah.
So anyway, kept talking. He says, let's just go to the show.
So he derailed you. He said, you're going to the football game, let's go to the show.
Yeah, we'll go to the show. So
now, normally you would say, maybe another time.
We were already, the football game had already started. So we just went to the show.
So something must have been different about this guy.
Well, and then the next day he had to leave and go to be picked up and go to Fort Ord.
So you only got to see him for one day.
Uh-huh.
Did you know him before that?
No, but we knew some of his family. I mean,
Yeah. So did you know you were going to marry him that day?
No.
No?
So anyway, we just corresponded, in mails all through the war.
Yeah. Did you think he was going to come back?
Oh, I figured he probably would.
He'd be resilient enough.
You didn't worry see, I'm young then. I'm not worrying about other people then, like people,
How many letters did you send to one another?
Oh, I don't know, several.
Several, like every week, 2 weeks, a
Well,
month?
he may write a letter, and it might take 2 or 3 weeks to get there. Because maybe they were someplace, where the war was going on, and they couldn't get through.
Right.
with the mail or anything else.
So then he came back. You went back out. Did he take you out to dinner, or did he take you to dinner at his folks' place, or did he go to your parents' place?
Oh, no, he went to my parents.
And what did your parents think of him?
Well, they thought he was all right.
Yeah? How long did it take you from that point for when he asked you to marry him?
Not very long. It was just maybe a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. So you knew him for a day. He goes off to work, comes back. Of course, you were sharing notes. And then a couple of weeks later, he asked you to marry. Did you say yes immediately, or did you say I have to think about it?
Well, no. He said we'll have to go and look for a ring.
Yeah.
So we did.
So you said yes immediately then?
Yeah.
What is your secret to longevity, to good health? What's the secret?
Well, really, I don't have a secret. I just go by day and day, and
Have you ever smoked?
no.
Have you ever drank wine?
Well, not really.
No? Any beer?
I've tasted it, but I don't
It's
like
terrible.
it.
So, what's your vice? You walk all the time. I know that. You're healthy.
Well,
you get a lot of
I
exercise.
can't walk anymore now. I got to where I can stumble around in the house. I just get up and do the things I have to do, and just take my time. And,
You just got good genes.
yeah.
Good genes. What was the best decade for you?
Well, I think it was when when we moved to Lenexa.
Lenexa, Kansas. What decade was that?
46.
46. She's got a much better memory than her grandson.
And we knew everyone, and we actually helped build that little town.
By the way, it's 34 square miles. Founded in 1869. Their population is 60,000 now.
Well, yeah.
But it's a suburb of Kansas City, so it's essentially,
And
you can't tell where it begins and where it ends.
People would get together and put their money together. They built a fire station. They would rent a movie, and then they'd show it, on the side of that fire station. So everybody took their own chairs or whatever they wanted to sit on, blankets and all of the kids and every dog in town went and and they would show this movie.
This had to be on reels, though. I mean, the people listen to this will think, they went to the box office, got a rental. No, we're talking about like the old reels.
Yeah. And so anyway, that was the most fun.
Yeah.
And the kids watch that, and they get up and climb trees and run and have fun. Anyway, this went on for a couple of years, and then they built that drive-in theater out there.
What was your first job?
I went to hairdressing school, see, and then
That was your profession. How many years were you a hairdresser?
55 years or something like that.
Did you ever have any financial struggles?
Financial?
Yeah.
Well, probably all of my life, I guess. Well, not, of course, we didn't have extra money like people have up today, You just didn't. No one made the wages then that they make now, So you just had to, you had so much to live on, and then tried to save some over here, and you just didn't spend everything you had.
Mm-hmm.
And
like the kids do today. When did you buy your first home? How much was it? Do you remember? Any?
$9,500.
She remembers it right off. $9,500. That was probably a fortune back then.
Oh yeah, and $9,500, and the interest rate was 4%.
Well, that's pretty good. That's not bad.
And we went to get a loan, and we had not borrowed money anywhere, so we had
You had no credit. Yet.
we didn't have any credit.
Yeah.
So finally a man said, well, can you think of anything you got on time and paid out? And I said, I remember on the Sunday paper there was a set of dishes, and you paid so much for them, but you give them so much money, and then each week you paid so much, and then you could pay them out.
And you did that.
And that's what
That was your example.
ordered those, because I wanted to see them before I bought them. And that's what we used to get our loan with.
So they took that and said, all right, good enough. You're approved. So how much do you think the world has changed over the last 100 years? So you went through World War II. You went through Korea War.
Uh-huh.
You went through the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, I went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Went through Vietnam. Went through the moon landing. Went through September 11th. Went to Iraq, of course, and Afghanistan. You've seen a lot.
Oh my goodness.
How would you describe it?
Well, I tell you, right now, I think it's just about the most mixed up world that you could ever find.
Yeah? Why do you say that? It wasn't like that in 100 years ago? You think it was easier? You think it was simple? People were more straightforward? What do you think?
Well, I think people, now I hope I'm wrong, but I think people were more honest then.
More honest back in the 20s, 30s, 40s?
Uh-huh.
And today, a lot of fake information, fake news as we call it.
Yes, and our politics, I think, has just about destroyed us.
So that's a debate I often have because, back in Andrew Jackson was in a feud way back in the day. So we think it's always bad today, but it was bad before. But you think, based on what your experience is, you feel like our politics is worse than it's ever been?
I think politics is probably worse than it's ever been.
In what way? Just the division?
I'll tell you the truth, I don't think any of them are honest.
At least it's consistent on both sides. They're consistently dishonest.
They'll do anything to get there. And then once they get there, it doesn't matter what they said they'd do. To me, they really don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you felt like back in the 40s, there were more, like Truman, more honesty, Roosevelt, honest?
Well, I'm sure, there's always been, politics has always been
Politics, yeah.
kind of politics. But I think they tried to do, as good as they could do.
Where do you think we're going to end? Where do you think we're going to go? Where does it go from here?
Well, I don't know. It depends on who gets in.
Did you lose any friends in World War II?
Well, yeah, I had an uncle that he didn't come back. And World War I, my mother's brother was killed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you missed World War I. You missed the first pandemic because you came after the first pandemic, but you got to experience the latest one. You lived through polio. You had people in your family that got polio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is where Maxine talks about her daughter that caught polio.
She was completely paralyzed. She was in the hospital 3.5 months.
Oh, wow.
And then they let me bring her home. Well, I had to go there a week and learn how to give her therapy. And then they said, well, I could keep her. I thought, well, I'm giving her therapy. One day I thought, I'm going to teach her how to walk again.
Yeah.
I'd set her up, in a chair.
What year was this?
Early 50s.
Yeah, 54?
Yeah, what I would do, I'd give her therapy in the morning and I'd let her rest. And hey, here's a chair, and I'd move another one over here, and I'd have her walk around these. And then every day I'd move them out farther.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept on doing that till I taught her how to walk again. Yeah.
Nobody else got polio in the family?
No.
Do you know where she got it?
No.
No.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. How do you think the women's lives have changed over 100 years?
Back then, the women didn't fly and go everywhere and, go overseas or someplace all by themselves.
Yeah.
When Bess Truman was in the,
Yeah.
Harry was in the
Yes.
office, Bess said, I'm not living at the White House. I'm going to stay at my home.
Yeah.
In Independence. And she did. We had to wear a dress up until we were probably about 5th or 6th grade, and we had like a jumpsuit, and then it had a skirt, and you brought it and you just buttoned it, and if anyone came to our house, why, we had to put the skirt on because our knees were showing.
You couldn't show knees back then. Could guys show their knees? Could men show their knees?
Well, I imagine they could, but they wore mostly jeans. They didn't have shorts then like they have now.
Everybody wore jeans. Everybody was hot back then.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most amazing thing you've seen last 100 years?
Well, I think the most amazing thing is how many airplanes we have anymore.
Yeah.
To fly.
Everybody's flying everywhere now.
Uh-huh.
Now, how was it in 1940-ish? What did it feel like? Just only the rich flew?
Well, you drove everywhere you went.
Yeah.
I didn't fly.
At that point in time, the Model T didn't become the standard manufactured car until 1919. So cars were just really getting started in the 20s. Did you have a car when you were little?
Oh, no. Oh, heavens, no. You had one family car, and it didn't go every day. You saved it, and it went to the grocery store or a church on Sunday. Or
where would you get gas to fill it up?
Well, there was a store not too far from us, and they had pumps out in front. I think it had 2 pumps.
Yeah.
And
in the whole town, so two pumps, and that's where you would go fill up.
Mm-hmm.
But when is the first time you can remember having a car?
Well, I don't remember what year it was, but I was just small. I know we didn't have one, and we got one later, like I probably was in 3rd or 4th grade.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Have you ever flown on a commercial airliner?
No, never.
Yeah, you've never flown on one, huh?
I have on the little planes, but not the commercial.
Do you think that flight and travel is more amazing than like the television?
Television anymore used to be good. They had good programs and all. Anymore, I like the sports, but the rest of it,
No good.
I don't really care for.
You still watch a lot of sports. But in terms of an invention, the introduction of the TV as a communication vehicle must have been pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, see, TV only came on. It wasn't on all day. It would be maybe it'd be on 2 or 3 hours, and then it'd be off until maybe kind of close to evening. Then you could hear the news.
Your number one invention.
Well, I think the microwave would be mine.
The microwave? Why did you like that so much?
Well, because you can warm up stuff and, and cook on them or do whatever.
You used to have to do that on a stove no matter what? That's the only choice you had?
Well, yes.
When was the first time you had a washing machine where you could wash clothes?
I don't know, but it was a gasoline motor on it.
A gasoline motor on a washing machine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was still, like around close to high school.
Getting close to high school and you did have a washing machine.
Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge about any current technology, like phones or anything? Do you care?
I can't use a phone like that. But, I've got my house phone, and it works just as good. And, and now that I got my hearing aids, I can hear the phone when I'm out here on the deck.
So you're admitting the hearing aids were good then?
Oh, yeah.
I heard you didn't like hearing aids at first.
Well,
is that true?
I didn't say I didn't like them.
You just hated them?
So your daughter is
Yes.
the one that got me these.
Yeah, she's always asking about you. She's worried to make sure you're hearing okay. She's the hearing expert. Did you like them now? It sounds like you like them now.
Oh yeah, I like them. I didn't at first.
Who's influenced you in your life the most?
Well, really, to me, my mother is the one that
Inspired you?
inspired me.
How did she do that?
She's always there for us, and she always said, I want you kids to always do the right thing.
Yeah.
And don't cheat anyone and just be yourself.
What year did she pass away?
She's been gone, I don't know what year, but she was 90 when she passed
90.
away.
See, you got good genes. What activities across your life have you found most enjoyable?
Most enjoyable. I like football.
You like football?
Oh, yeah.
That's because you're from Oklahoma. That's all they play down there, isn't it?
Listen, either you learned to play football in Oklahoma or you didn't stay there.
Yeah? You don't like KU, do you?
Well,
Let's just get it out. Why don't you like KU? We got to get that.
it's not that I don't really like KU. I don't like some of the programs that goes on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like basketball?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because we beat Oklahoma? Or-
Well, no.
No?
That coach, basketball coach, he was Charles's third cousin.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
I don't know who Charles... Oh, Charles, your husband.
Yeah.
Third cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
So he's not giving you any tickets. That's the problem. But football, you like any activities that you've done that you like any sports? Did you like going to the movies or?
Well, we used to go to movies every Friday night. See, that was movie night.
Every Friday night?
It cost you 10 cents.
Yeah.
This is when I was growing up.
But you watch baseball and football.
And I'm kind of getting off of baseball after the Royals.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they're no good. Is there any advice you'd give the Royals? See, hopefully somebody from Royals is listening. Is it a player issue? Is it a management issue? What needs to be done here?
Well, I don't know, but none of them hardly know how to field.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, they are. I just get disgusted with them.
But you still watch.
Well, I'll watch them a little while, and we could be 5 or 6 ahead
Yeah.
at the ninth inning, we can lose it.
So you like the Royals, you like Oklahoma football, you like the Chiefs?
Oh, yes.
You watch the Chiefs. Any other teams that I don't know about? You don't like KU, I got that. What other teams? You like any other teams that I haven't mentioned?
Oh, our Chiefs are the first.
Yeah, they're the top of the list now?
Yeah.
You like Mahomes? You like Mahomes?
Oh, my.
I think that's a yes. I would think that's a yes. Like Mahomes, you knew he was going to be good, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I watched him all through high school.
Yeah, through high school.
I mean,
Or college.
College,
Yeah, college.
when he was down at college.
Texas Tech.
And
Yeah.
I used to watch him every time I could.
Yeah.
Because I loved to watch him throw that ball.
Yeah.
And he'd throw it. Well, anyway, when the Chiefs drafted him, I said, yay!
So you knew he was going to be
I can watch
playing.
him all the time. I really have enjoyed him for a long time.
Well, he's doing good so far.
Yeah.
He's also earning a lot of money.
No,
Is he worth $500 million?
and look at all the other things, plus the clothing,
Yeah.
everything.
All right, so a couple more questions before we wrap up. What's your advice? What does it take to be happy?
I'll tell you, you have to think, I can't have everything I want, and long as my family is all right.
So it's family. At the end of the day, it's about family.
My family, I'm okay.
What's your best advice for a young person?
I tell you, I think just if you're in college, learn everything you can learn. Continuously learn.
Yeah.
And just always be yourself.
If there's any advice you would give your younger self, like if you were 20 right now and you were talking to yourself, what advice would you give yourself?
Shut the door and stay inside. I think eating well is just about as good as anything you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you eat well still?
Well, I try, but the food you have, it's not the food you used to have.
So are we doomed then? So in other words, the food you used to have in the...
And, when we had our garden, oh, that was delicious food.
So you got to have your own garden. That's what you would suggest.
Yeah.
You got to grow your own food. You can't buy it at the grocery store.
Oh, you can't buy good stuff like the grocery like you can go out into the garden.
Is there anything you wanted to do that you never got around to doing?
Well, not really. I mean, I just don't think of things like that. I'm sure we all have regrets, but, you just don't dwell on them and you just go on. You can't change them.
Anything that you're fearful of?
Well, there's a lot of things that is fearful to me.
Outside of politics, we already hit that one. Which I happen to be there with you on that one.
Not really. I mean, we all have fears. You think, oh my goodness, my child is growing up and I don't want them to.
Yeah. My wife always tells me, I say the same thing, and then she says, that's what's supposed to happen. How long is a good life?
How long's a good life?
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I think as long as you're here and you're not in pain and all of that, to me, it's a good life. I don't care what you have. Go on and use it and don't worry about what you don't have. Huh?
What do you love most? Family?
Family?
Is that number one?
Yeah.
Anything else that you would add? Family, eating well. You talked about eating well. You talked about not wanting what you don't have. Would you like to be rich? Or would you say, that gives you more worries?
Well, the more you have, the more you worry about it. Being rich, to me, is not going to help me any more than I am right now.
What do you want to do on your 100th birthday? You want a big party, or you want get up in a hot air balloon? What do you want to
do? Steve always said, on her 100th birthday, I'm going to set her out here on the driveway and let people wave at her.
So that's what you want us to show you off in the driveway? Is that what you're saying? Well, we can do that. We can do that.
Okay, and don't forget it.
All right, I won't forget it. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with me today. It's awesome.
Well, I'm sure that those people will be just glad to hear all of this.
They will be glad. Most of us don't have the years of wisdom that you have. Do you feel good every day?
Huh?
Do you feel pretty good?
Do I feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why, do I look good?
You look great. You look great.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening to the podcast, hope you enjoyed it today. Hit me on almartintalksdata@gmail.com. Anything you want to hear about, or if you'd like to be on the podcast, reach out to us. Until next time, later.
How much was it?
50 is an hour.
Oh.
He was paying me $100 a minute.
Yes.
Oh, good. Now,
You already said you didn't have to be rich, though.
I never wanted to be rich. Now I do.
Yeah. Now you can't change your answer after you've already given it.